Welcome to Cucuy Beyond. I'm Brenda. I'm joined by Kim and Tien.
Tonight, we're diving into some seriously creepy territory. Dolls that don't stay where you leave them, spirits that don't forgive, and the kind of shadow monsters your parents warned you about. Yes, we are talking about Annabelle, Onryō, and the one and only El Cucuy. I'll get us started today. The first story is about Annabelle, but before we talk about how the movie Annabelle got her creepy vibe, let's back up and talk about the real story behind the doll. In the 1970s, a student nurse named Donna from Hartford, Connecticut, gave the Warrens a doll she swore could move on its own and had started acting aggressively. A psychic told Donna and her roommate that the spirit of a 6-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins had attached itself to the doll, but the Warrens claimed it wasn't a child at all, but something demonic pretending to be one. Over the years, the Warrens blamed Annabelle for everything from psychotic flashes on visitors to a priest crashing his car after mocking the doll, and even a detective being stabbed and forced into an early retirement. Now let's jump to Mexico. South of Mexico City, in the canals of Xochimilco, there is this tiny place called Isla de las Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls. And if you've ever seen pictures, imagine hundreds of dolls hanging from the trees, staring at you with missing eyes and cracked faces. Brenda, Tien, did you guys get a chance to look at some of the pictures online?
I do feel I've seen those before. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're a little creepy. Tien, have you
Yeah.
seen them before?
I think I've seen movies inspired by these islands where they just have the little doll heads hanging from the trees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those kind of movies.
The story goes that a young girl drowned near the island, and the caretaker, Don Julian Santana, claimed he heard her spirit crying, "I want my doll." He found a doll floating near where she died and hung it on the tree as an offering. But then dolls started appearing everywhere, some decapitated, some missing limbs. Julian became obsessed. For over 50 years, he traded vegetables for dolls, dug through trash, and hung every single one he found. He believed they protected the island. In 2001, he died in the exact same spot where the girl drowned. Locals say that her spirit finally came for him. Fast forward to 2022, the island gets recognized by the Guinness World Record for having the largest collection of haunted dolls. I didn't know the Guinness World Records could do that. I thought it was just weird stuff that people try to break a record for, but apparently it's also for stuff like this. Did you guys know?
No, I had no idea. But Guinness World Records have some really strange records. But my question is, why did he think that all these dolls would protect him? If they're coming decapitated, dismembered, I feel that's a sign that, hey, maybe we shouldn't hang these around.
You mean Don Julian?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how to answer that question for you, but I feel it's because maybe it's kind of in the same way people feel protected for having religious figures around. Maybe that's how he saw the dolls, as some form of protection in that same way.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah. Like you imbue maybe some kind of healing or protective powers in these dolls, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a very strange connection.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up because I'm not sure.
The same as those Annabelle dolls that have the red hair, and it's a cloth doll.
That was the original doll, but not the ones
I
that
used
he
to have
had.
that one.
Oh.
Oh, wait, is it the same? Because I thought that there were the porcelain ones.
Well, I think the real story one is a cloth doll, but the ones that Julian had was, I think that was the plastic kind that you can just take off the heads and body parts. They were popular in the 90s. I remember having those dolls that were just from cheap plastic and you could remove stuff. That's how they look in the pictures. I'm not sure. How did this inspire the Annabelle movie? Well, it didn't directly inspire it, but it definitely helped Hollywood take the creepy vibe that the island has and put it in the movie story. For example, a doll linked to a tragic death, dolls that seem alive, or even places that feels cursed the second you step into it. That's how people describe the island, and that's how also people describe the movie now. You can kind of see the connection there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You guys hear that there was an Annabelle tour?
Like
Yeah.
the actual place where it's kept?
No. So you know the Conjuring series?
Yeah.
Last year, they released the final film of the series, The Conjuring Last Rites.
Mhm.
And as part of to hype up the film, the New England Society of Psychic Research, which is founded by Ed and Lorraine, they sponsored a tour called Devils on the Run. And they would actually bring that real Annabelle doll to different places in the city that people can see them up close. Now, I really wanted to go. I don't know if there was any in Illinois, but it was really creepy because people started talking about how strange things would happen in places where this Annabelle doll would visit. For example, when it was taken to New Orleans, they found that on May 19th, a fire broke out in the French Quarter at this home. And this home used to be owned by the voodoo, what she's considered the voodoo queen of New Orleans, Miss Marie Laveau. And people believe that the Annabelle doll caused these strange occurrences and devastation wherever she was moved. So I thought that was really interesting, and we should totally visit if the tour is still on.
I think I heard of it. Yeah. Now that you're mentioning it. Didn't somebody die?
That's what I thought too. I heard it was strange, like someone died, and I don't know if it seemed to me it was a hoax. I thought it wasn't a real event, but I guess it was an actual tour cross country.
Yeah. Yeah, I think somebody did die. No, I'm not going. I am not going to die.
I'm gonna look it up now. So we'll find out. Well, it says a paranormal investigator died while on the tour in July of last year. He was a lead investigator.
Dan Rivera. Yeah, see, I did remember that. I knew there was a reason why I didn't want to go when I heard about it.
Okay, but he's also like 54. I don't know.
You're not convincing me. I'm not going. But yeah, that's my story. I'll pass it on to Tien.
Thanks, Kim, for passing it on. My story is going to be on the Japanese folklore around these vengeful spirits called Onryō. They are considered wrathful spirits, hatred spirits, or resentful spirits, and they're believed to be capable of causing harm in the world of the living, injuring or killing enemies, or even causing natural disasters to exact revenge. And they're often depicted as wronged women. There is a story, a tale recorded by, and I'm probably not pronouncing this right, Lafcadio Firm, and it's called Of a Promise Broken. In this story, a samurai, he vows to his dying wife to never remarry. Then she asked him on the faith of a samurai, to which he responded, on the faith of a samurai. And then
Cute story.
Huh?
That's a cute story.
It is cute until he remarries.
Aw, what a bullshit.
And it is a younger bride, too. A younger, prettier bride. I can kind of see it. But granted, this takes place hundreds of years ago. After she dies, he buries his wife in the garden near the plum trees that they planted with a small bell as she requested. But within 12 months after she died, the samurai's relatives and friends, they urged him to marry because at that time he was still young, he has no children, breaks his promise to his late wife and marries another bride. Now, 7 days after the wedding, while the samurai was at work, young wife, she felt really uneasy. There was crushing the air, heaviness, and then she hears a clang of a bell outside that seemed to be getting nearer. Then she saw a woman glide into the room, robed in a gray robe and carrying a bell, eyeless, and loosened hair covered her face. The ghost told the young wife to leave and to not tell the husband about her, and then she vanished. The young wife was terrified. She tried to leave the marriage and told the samurai about the ghost, but her husband didn't believe her. Instead, he orders men to watch her room. But when he returns at dawn, the samurai found the headless body of his young wife lying in a pool of blood. The head was nowhere to be seen, but the wound showed that her head had been just completely torn off. The samurai and the two men chase down the apparition, and one of the men, he recites a Buddhist prayer, destroying the ghost of the dead wife. That's an example of these vengeful spirits, these wronged women coming back to just exact revenge on promises that were broken to them.
But I think it was the husband's fault here, okay? I feel she should have gone and whatever killed the husband. Yeah, because he was the one who broke the promise.
That's true, but in these stories, it's always the other woman. You're right. The woman's innocent. She just wanted to husband.
Yeah, it was him. He was a jerk.
Yeah, I don't know.
No comment.
These Onryō, they inspired a couple of films that I'm sure you guys probably seen. The idea of the grudge is that it's a curse for when someone dies in extreme rage or sorrow, and those who encounter the curse will die, passing from victim. The original movie Ju-on the Grudge, which was filmed in 2002, that story revolves around a cursed home in Tokyo where the husband murdered his wife in this house after discovering she's in love with another man, and kills the cat too, and the own son.
The cat.
Not the cat.
Everyone else but the animal.
Exactly, not and the innocent son, the poor son.
Oh no. I don't think I've seen The Grudge, but I've heard of it. It just doesn't appeal to me. Just seeing the previews. Is that the same one? I just remember there were previews where there's the long black-haired girl with it's coming out of the TV.
Oh, yeah, The Ring. Yeah, The Ring.
Oh, you were wrong. They still got it right.
Onryō.
I think it's both, the Grudge and The Ring.
Yeah. Brenda was right and wrong at the same time.
But seeing these dates make me feel fucking old, Tian. Why would you put the date there?
What?
For 2002.
Because this one we grew up watching.
Kim, you're
I
angry
watched
today.
it.
I used to be obsessed with The Ring.
This girl.
Is that the one? Oh man, am I misread? Is that the one where they you get a phone call, then 7 days later you die? Right?
I don't
The
know.
Ring?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure the one.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I have to rewatch it now.
Guys, I was
I don't
so
wanna
mean
see
as
that
a
again.
kid, though.
I don't know.
And I pranked my friend.
Oh my God.
I was like in middle school, and I've never done anything wrong in my life.
And I was excited.
That was I'm looking back, that was a really mean prank because I knew he was scared of the movie. And then my friend and I, after we watched it, we called him from a fake number and be like, "You're gonna die in 7 days." And then
My God.
Jesus
You're
Christ.
terrible.
That was your friend?
I know. And then he slept with his parents because he was so scared. I'm like, "Tia, you are such a mean little kid."
Yeah, my God. I can't believe it. You look so innocent now.
Mellow down.
Know your true colors now, Tian.
I'm not taking any of those phone calls.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, those are the movies that took inspiration from the Onryōs, these vengeful spirits. And now that you guys know about them, you should watch them whenever you have the time.
You know, I was thinking, why did you guys not make my story this fun?
Oh, I don't know. I think
Like,
it's
you guys just let me talk and not even comment.
Well, I'm familiar with those movies, and I know I don't like them.
Okay, I'll pass it now on to Brenda.
Okay, so today I thought I would talk about the Cucuy. So while the Llorona, the whipping woman, who we covered in a previous podcast recording, for those who want to hear it, that's, I think, at least for me, traditionally, that's dominated Hispanic horror films. The Cucuy has been in search of representation as filmmakers explore for more psychological roots of childhood trauma. And so growing up, I didn't really hear about the stories about the Cucuy as much as the Llorona. But as I got older and I interacted with other Latino cultures, I heard more about the Cucuy. And sometimes without knowing too much about it, I kind of, got the idea of like what was meant behind it. So I would hear adults kind of jokingly telling their children, if you don't behave, the Cucuy is coming to get you. So have either of you heard of the Cucuy before?
Yes, I have a funny story to tell you. I am so traumatized by it that I still cannot sleep with the door open or the curtains open because I feel like the Cucuy is going to come out and get me at night, and my husband makes fun of me constantly. Because I tell him, close the door. I don't want to see the door open. I don't want to see the blinds open at night because I feel like I'm going to see the Cucuy out there. And apparently that wasn't something he was told about. So he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it, but why were you so scared of the Cucuy?
Because my parents always told me the Cucuy's out there. It's going to get you at night. You're going to see him standing there.
Oh my God.
So that's why I'm traumatized.
Yeah. I think I started hearing it more when I was around Mexican culture, which in Chicago here, I did grow up around a lot of the Mexican community. But in Guatemala, that was not something I would hear about. So turns out when I was looking into it for this topic, that the Cucuy originated from Spain and Portugal. It traces back to the 13th century, and it actually initially was named Coco or Cuco. And I think I've heard of Cuco before. Also, the name was originally from a female dragon-like figure that featured in medieval processions. It represented a beast that defeated St. George, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil. Also, I guess there's a connection with the Portuguese explorers like Vasco da Gama. When first encountered coconuts in the Indian Ocean, they thought they saw three eyes on the brown hair in the hairy shells that looked like faces on the coconuts. So they named the fruit coco after the monster from their nursery rhymes. So that's interesting. Yeah. So, yeah.
Not the Coca-Cola?
So with time, that evolved into a boogeyman. Unlike ghosts or vampires, it was intentionally that allowed for the child's imagination to fill in those blanks. That is how I interpret it. I do find it interesting, again, because I didn't grow up with it, but I would overhear it. And it's like, even with little information, I got the hint, and I got the intent behind it and the joke. And it does leave it up to your imagination. So I find that interesting how that translates in the culture. The purpose of it for the parents to tell their kids about it is more for discipline, make sure that you behave or the Cucuy is going to come and get you. And there's regional variations as always. We've seen with the Llorona as well. So some of the movies that it has inspired recently was The Boogeyman in 2018. And then The Outsiders by Stephen King. Grimm in La Cuca. That's a Brazilian folklore story.
La Cuca means something else in Spanish.
You know what? I'm not sure what the cuca means besides social cucaracha. But other than that,
doesn't it mean like coochie or like butt?
Oh my God.
I swear to God. I don't know if it's like just in my region in Mexico, but La Cuca means something around those lines, okay?
Well, in Brazil, the creature is often depicted as a female alligator. So it is tied to the female. Have you guys watched any of these movies? Because I definitely haven't. I'm not a big fan of these type of films.
No, I haven't yet, but I might give The Outsider a try from Stephen King. I feel like I've heard a lot of these, or like variations of like the Boogeyman movies, but I haven't seen these one in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of the Boogeyman, but I'm just not interested. I feel like I used to watch more of these scary films when I was growing up. I used to like Hellraiser, Candyman, and Chucky. I think I watched every single one of them till I got bored of them. But yeah, nothing else really.
So I did look it up.
Mhm.
I did look it up. And in Mexico, la cuca means vagina. So now you know.
Remove that.
No, I'm keeping it.
I know.
It's worse than a long-breasted gopher.
Yes. Well, that is all I have for my topic. Thank you. Now I'll hand it over to Tien for closing remarks.
Thank you, Brenda. And that is our little tour through haunted dolls, vengeful spirits, and the shadow creature your parents swore would snatch you if you didn't behave like traumatizing Kim. Wild how these stories come from totally different places, yet all tap into the same human fear. Something watching, something reading, something we can't quite explain. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Go easy on yourself, sleep with a light on if you need to, and maybe don't look too long at any dolls in your house.
And don't go around Mexico saying la cuca.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Kip, for the important note.
You're welcome.
We'll catch you next episode.